powerful presence in the media.
Yes, and they met with us here. They asked to come by and meet with us, and so I'm doing some work that Kirk doesn't know yet, that he's now going to be a part of too. So you come to me now. You have to have Kirk because I'm so thankful to have help. So we got that done, and Friday, Christian McNally was with us again, and we had two very, very big meetings with Congress, two congressional offices. Tom's going to tell you a little bit more about that. But one of the really cool things that happened, besides that, now me having a meltdown in one of them, having to share a story, but that's okay. I saw Sessions' office. And for those of you who are involved in the child trafficking arena, CPS, many of you are aware that Jonah Reef is our child who represents all the children. This isn't just one child. This is like, we aren't just here. We aren't the ones bringing it. This is the people, right? Jonah is the child that represents every child that's missing, kidnapped, even those who are no longer with us. This is a very big part of what we're doing, and child trafficking is at the center of everything. Everything, whether it's your home, whether it's your property, whether it's your court case, just know that every court case has a connection somewhere within it financially to a trafficked child, whether you know it or not, it's happening. So when I saw Sessions' office as we were looking around the corner, I said, you know what, Tom, while you're in there, I've got an extra binder in my hands. I'm going back in because Sessions in 2013 was very involved with Jonah Reef's case. Not just his, but because his mother had brought every bit of the evidence. So the Department of Defense was involved, Homeland Security, international offices, and we're talking at the highest echelons, guys. We're not just talking, walking in there. We're talking the guys who matter to our homeland and national security as well. So Congressman Sessions was the one who led that brigade for her. And shortly after those meetings, she was also kidnapped. So there's a lot of things that go on that people don't comprehend why things don't move fast. Well, they don't move fast because politicians, child traffickers, cartel, they're very involved with our politicians. And that's why we say, folks, not them, not Republican, them, all of them collectively. You have to be very careful because a lot of money is changing hands. And we're very disappointed for the list that came out for the Venezuelan takers, one of which was one of our top offices prior to us coming here, that we will share at a later time because tonight's going to be more involved with Kurt. But I believe that I have come to the end of what I wanted to share this week, other than to tell you, keep the prayers coming. Like John says, keep the affidavits coming. Miracles are happening, and we also have another, besides that political consultant who said he wants to help us. So we're going to be, he definitely is going to be helping us. And believe me, he's a many-year man in DC dealing with both sides of the ticket, lobbyists, bills. You know him and you will know who he is eventually. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom because Tom is going to finish off before a really good introduction. So thank you all for watching and stay with us.
Thanks, Billy. As Billy said, we did covered a lot of ground, and you cover a lot of ground to get anything done in DC. If you've been in any of those offices, they're enormous office buildings. But in any event, I want to thank Darla Gula for making some very powerful introductions for us. Keep making those calls, everybody, because they work. I think we're in over 40 offices now. We typically are met with very young staff, fresh out of college for the most part. And we got some wonderful feedback by a senior staffer we spent quite a bit of time with on Friday, which was, this is great. We understand it. The congressmen and the senators understand it. But our young staffers are challenged by quite a bit of this. So to be politically incorrect, if you could dumb it down just a bit and basically cut it into some subparts, sub-bills, that should help tremendously. And that was wonderful feedback. We were excited by it. But Billy was also challenged, being the primary author of what we've done.
Tears, guys, literally. I was over my head. I was at that point, yeah.
And she was kind of lamented. It figures we got a bunch of writing to do. And Rod Class, who was supposed to be with us, wasn't able to make it. So she said, no, Rod's not here. Most of it's gonna fall on me. Maybe you and John can, help out a little bit, but it's me and I'm overwhelmed already. We've got a lot on our plate. And serendipitously, right about that time, the phone rang. Excuse me. And it happened to be Kirk Pendergrass, who had been on the phone with Rod Class. And Rod had said, Kirk had said, how can I get involved? What can I do to help? And Rod said, you can get to DC. They need you there.
Right now.
And
Yeah, now,
literally.
now, I was like, you're coming.
So basically, that came together that fast. And for those of you that don't know, Kirk, his website's kirkslawcorner.com. That's where I go to use. That's my legal dictionaries and my Charles Weissman books, etc. Very good resource, lots of good information. Kirk's got a lot of great videos. But he and Chris Hallett were instrumental in with E-Clause in putting together the remonstrance. It was part of the Powers versus Bank of New York Mellon case that a lot of us have filed into as well. And basically, the E-Clause had a risk management contract with Congress. They were Doge before there was Doge. It's kind of come full
And before
circle.
Chris was killed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's come full circle because Doge is the first office that we introduced our things to. That was our kickoff, if you will, when we came to DC. And we got that started. And now basically we're handing the baton to Kirk, who started everything, to kind of take us through the finish line. What was that? Kirk Pendergrass?
Take it away, Kurt.
All right. Thank you, Tom and Billy and John. Yeah, I came across Chris through a woman named Crystal, and that Chris was actually working with at the time, and she was coming on my Law for Dummies blog talk radio show, which was Monday nights, before it was called Monday Night Law, back in 2015. I spent a year on Blog Talk Radio, and oh, you got to talk to this guy. You got to talk. He sounds just like you. He's saying some of the same stuff, going after the bar, bro, because I had my own knowledge and research and studying law in the history of law since 1995. It came extremely exponential in about 2014. Part of it was from the Bundy Ranch, which would happen in Pahrump, Nevada, kind of spiked my interest there. And
That's what did it for me too, by the way. That's
yeah,
when I started.
it's like, oh man, stuff's going down. People are coming together, even to the point of taking up arms. I mean, that's the whole point behind the Second Amendment. But there's due process of law before we get to the Second Amendment. Even Blackstone, in his commentaries on the laws of England, says, hey, for a vindication of these rights, these God-given natural rights from the laws of nature, we're supposed to petition the judicial, we're supposed to petition the legislature, and then we can resort to the Second Amendment. Because fundamentally and principally, we're supposed to be Christian forbearance, love, and charity, and without the use of force and violence. So we should always try to talk to our fellow man and work through our issues and stuff. But this is how this all got started. I was introduced to Chris, and I hit him up, and he sent me the paperwork that he had started to begin with, and I basically messaged him back and was like, are you going after the bar, bro? Because if you're not going after the bar, I'm not even going to waste my time. And he said, did you read my paperwork? And I'm like, well, no. And he's like, well, read my paperwork, because at that time he had, had so many people didn't believe in what he had talked about, what he had written, and nobody got it. And they were telling him that he's just full of crap and they doesn't know what he's talking about. I read the initial judicial report, practitioner's judicial report. That's a 30-page report there. And I got to about page 12. I instantly hit him up and said, okay, you're my new best friend. You are going after the bar, bro. And I would like to join forces with you. And so that's how that got started in September of 2017. And then I invited him on. I had actually just started on Facebook, doing Facebook Lives, and invited him on there. And it kicked off from there. And I started helping feeding Chris history of law, letter of the law, rule of law, and that kind of stuff. And it just got exponential from there. And then Congress allowed Chris because of the what we were calling it back then was a petition of remonstrance. I have since learned after Chris was murdered that there's a difference between a petition and remonstrance. But we were challenging the bar's monopoly, and you cannot license the practice of law, and reporting on the corruption in the judicial branch, mostly about family law, because that's kind of where this all started, was the family law stuff. But we called it weaponized family courts. And so you may have heard some talking about weaponized courts out there in the later years here, but we're the ones that dubbed that weaponized family courts, weaponized courts. And I see people making comments about, and I know a lot of my followers have been there since the inception of Kirk's Law Corner with Chris and I. And I want to thank all those that have followed this long and have waited for this day. Now, these folks here, after Chris was murdered, they stayed in contact with each other, and they were actually, and I knew that Chris was working with other people. He never disclosed some of those people as well as members of Congress. So it's just God works in mysterious ways. I've seen this toll and roll stuff come out. I reached out to Rod Class. I didn't get any response back from him. I left him a voicemail. I finally got a text message from him. Said that he was having some medical issues, health issues, and I sent him a message back. I said, "Hey, are you okay?" And then I got no response, and that was like 2 weeks ago. And then I contacted a mutual friend of ours, that Art, and said, "Hey, I reached out to Rod Class. He did finally send me a text message back, and I responded and asked if he was okay, and I got no response back. Is he okay? Do you know anything?" He's like, "Well, he is having some issues there, but let me give him a call and see if he'll take your call or call you." And I said, "Yeah, please do, because I just want to help with this, because I see what was written and stuff in there, and I'm like, this is the stuff that Chris and I was working on back in 2017."
Mhm.
And so I literally hung up with Art, and it wasn't 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes later, Rod called. And so we were talking about all sorts of different stuff, and and I had explained it. Was like, well, actually, what I originally was trying to get a hold of you regarding was the toll and roll stuff and the petition of remonstrance to Congress for the restoration of the republic. And he's like, "Oh." And so I had to reiterate to Rod that it was Chris and I that started this stuff back in 2017. And once I started explaining to him the things that we had done and how E-Clause got created, and that, yes, we were going after the child pedophilia rings, and he's like, "Oh, wow." He's like, "You're the guy. You need to be in DC right now." And I'm like, and this was Friday.
Right
This
before
was Friday afternoon. Okay. And so Rod says, "I'm going to give you Billy's number. Call her." I said, "Okay." So we hung up. He texted me the message. I immediately called her, and she immediately picked up the phone. "Hey, I'm Kirk Pendergrass from Boise, Idaho. I don't know if you know who I am or anything," because I didn't know, right? And
Yeah, it was like,
oh, I know
thank
exactly.
God.
I know exactly who you are. Da, 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 da. And she explained to me how they were working with Chris on this stuff on the backside. And wow.
Yeah, because it was Valerie and Lori who worked with Chris and directly. And, Lori passed away as well. And they were the ones that intervened and brought, that's Valerie Nate and Lori Cole. And like Chris, Lori's gone now too. But we worked, all of us worked very hard and continued once that got put in. Linda Nash and I, after the first couple of months, we had 15 states that were ratified with this petition of remonstrance. It's on our website. If you go to the website, You can read it there, parts 1 and 2, the amicus brief. It's all there. But Linda Nash and I, because I was on Linda's board for homeowners legal rights, and I called her and she said, well, how do we get the rest of them done? So with Linda's help, we ended up getting up to 40 states. Homeowners legal rights helped with the printing. And I got to tell you, the petition of remonstrance for all these states, it was lots of boxes of paper. And I gotta tell you, we did it. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, all of our petition of remonstrance state representatives, because of you, all 50 states are involved, 40 ratified. It's a historical document, and it is literally, now I know for sure, because I've had this confirmation from Kirk, that it is the new Declaration of Independence 2025, as we were calling it, as the second part of the name. So it's very, very important that you know the people did this. The people. This is all 50 states. We have the people working hard. Hundreds of dockets across the country had this petition of remonstrance filed into it. So the people recognized, and when you read it, you go, wow. And it's all about, they take money to do a service for us. They take oaths of office. And guess what? You violate the emoluments. That means you're taking money, and you violate a job by violating the Constitution and the people's rights. So Kurt, explain a little bit about that, because some people really don't comprehend that petition of remonstrance done the way it was and brought the way it was. Then when we came, and what a lot of people may not know is the reason our fire was lit. We literally rose from the ashes. March 7th was the day I found the ranch burned down, our family ranch, and called John, literally in tears, called Renee Weiler. John said,
Time to go.
Time to roll. And I said, yeah, because the damages are tolling. And I, on the phone, went, that's it, tolling and rolling. The damages are tolling, we're rolling. That's how toll and roll came to be. So with Kirk here, I said to everyone that would listen, you have no idea. I love to happy dance. This was the biggest happy dance I've done in my life.
I
Because
wasn't here yet, and I could hear her from a couple, 3 states away.
Yeah, exactly. So Kurt, this really is serendipitous. God has taken us from Orange OC to DC, all across this country. And for you to call last night, when I literally was looking at Tom across this counter going, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got to write this. And guys, this wasn't just writing it. I had already started a lot of it because had been given thoughts that maybe we need to divide it up a little bit and dummy it down, just like we were told, basically. So today we did what we were told to do, while Kurt did what he knows we really need to do. So what that means, Kurt, tell them what I mean by what we really need to do, aside from what they told us to do.
Well, I'm going to back up a little bit about the emoluments clause. And there's actually 2 different places in the Constitution talks about the emoluments clause, but specifically Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8. And, an emolument is any advantage, profit, or gain received due to one's position of employment or holding of office. Now, Krista actually did a parliamentary inquiry into Congress, which the Attorney General had to respond and answer the question of what an emolument is. And Attorney General Barr stood there and said, well, it's a stipend attached to some office. Well, I like the other definition better because it makes a lot more broader definition of what an emolument is. So basically, to break it down so Grandma can understand it here,
Thank you.
is that it's any payment that you receive. So to perform certain duties. So
Your paycheck.
yeah, it's a payment, right? You're employed, whether you're elected or appointed, you're employed by the people because you're paid by taxpayer dollars. So the whole government, right, all of it runs on taxpayer money, and it relies on the taxpayers to fund government. So basically, to initially deal with the monopoly challenge, Congress proposed to Chris to allow him to create his own practice called loss prevention for the government of the United States of America. This was Doge before it was Doge, and that's October 25th of 2017. So that's when eClause got started and created by the consent of Congress as Doge before it was Doge. And Chris was doing audits, full forensic audits. This is, a lot of people are familiar with risk management, which is just loss prevention to prevent the loss of, listen, in business realm of things, you got to do your P&L sheet, profits and losses and gains, right? Profits and losses. You always got to do that P&L sheet. And that's basically what loss prevention is. That's what our government was missing is, okay, where are you getting the money and where's it going? Who's it going to? How's it being spent? Those kinds of things. And then, okay, is it lawful and constitutional? If it's not, somebody's in deep doo-doo. So that's how this is working right now, is it's being implemented through Doge, how they came in. And now they want to hear from us what our demands are and what we're going to propose a resolution to restore the rights of the people, that all political power is inherent in the people, and our true Republican form of government, which is a Confederate republic. We are a confederacy. We're not a democracy and we're not an aristocracy. That's your only three choices of a republic. There's three kinds of republics. So we want to go back to the Confederacy that our founders originally created, a league of friendship, a union, which you can see right in the preamble to the Constitution for the United States of America, is in order to form a more perfect union, a more perfect confederacy, because that's what a union is a confederacy. So again, it's right in the preamble. You can also see it in Article 6, Clause 1, as under the confederacy. So it's all still supposed to be a confederacy because we have 50 independent sovereign nation states that have yielded certain parts of their sovereignty to what we call a national or federal government. It's supposed to be a national government, but
And let me interject real quick because we can see the comments. And Deb, hi honey, Deborah Golden. Well, it's a Miss Valerie and Lori, and I didn't start the remonstrance. So let's make this clear. And this is why it's important for everyone to know. This is how it happened. Chris and Kurt were eClause, and what he just explained. So when we started listening to their shows and started talking, Valerie and Lori said we have to have that petition of remonstrance to go into the Powers versus Bank of New York Mellon. And that's how it started, for the people. Because remember, the Powers v. Bank of New York Mellon became the case for the people. It wasn't any longer mine when we decided to do the joiner of criminal actions. And that's when it became not my case anymore and got bigger than we had ever imagined it would do and why we're here. But Chris and Kurt were the ones with eClause. Valerie and Lori were learning from them how to put these documents together. It was truly an amazing group effort. And who knew back then, obviously Kurt didn't even know until recently, how big that petition of remonstrance would be to the rest of us, because no matter what, I was not going to let it die, because that case came because I said I'd continue it until the end. Lori and Val said they'd continue it till the end. This petition of remonstrance was brought to DC in April. And in May, on May 2nd, our journey began with Doge, and we got in, and thank you, Matt. Matt was our boots on the ground in April, delivering the two big binders that were created. And for anybody listening, also know it costs a lot of money to do this stuff. We don't have money. None of us are let's just say, none of us could really go out and hardly fill the car with gas today.
Shit.
So, this is all about having given up everything. All of us lost everything. The three of us, we lost everything. Right down, I mean, they stole everything. SWAT teams beating us up, stealing a business, stealing our homes with every bit of fraud, factually in verified facts and evidence. So all of you out there saying, oh, I've got them, I've got everything you can imagine. Guess what? I was the head of 2 whistleblower teams. I'm an international whistleblower through Australia Financial Crimes, also through the Securities and Exchange Commission. I didn't just send stuff and have a TCR number. Those of us working behind the scenes, Faith Brashear, Renee Weiler, Deborah Golden, there's the list goes on. Daryl Knowles.
There is hundreds of thousands of people.
Yes.
We're looking at 340 million people here in America. We know there are hundreds of thousands of Americans that have been subjected to this tyranny, this corruption, this despotism, a despotic form of government.
Yes, Lou, we
Which
are
is-
getting the mafia.
This is what we are here for now, is
And-
to redress our grievances with a corrupt, despotic government and to restore the laws of nature, the common law, law of nations, and our political rights to alter, reform, or abolish anything at any time we deem it necessary. We, the people, have been stripped of our powers and our rights. And we're redressing that grievance on behalf of, as a relator, on behalf of all of the people. So keep in mind that that's what this is, right? And that's what we're working on as the people.
And there's also caveats to this because a lot of people don't know the things going on behind the scenes. So when you're doing these actions, remember Rod Class's name. We not only have Rod, who is the only one in this country with a congressional seal as a private attorney general and bounty hunter for the people. He is the only one, and it is a congressional seal, and it's fun when you go through the machines at the front when his badge is there, and they pull him over and they talk. And this is you know, you have a lot of people out there who want to think they know everything. The good news is all of us know a little bit about something. So when we all got together, that created a lot of knowledge. It doesn't mean John knows everything. I definitely don't know everything. Tom, even Kirk, we all collectively, for all hundreds and thousands of people behind us, you think in 18 years I know the things I do now because of just me? John has taught me. Tom has taught me. Kirk has taught me for years without knowing it. We teach each other. Deborah Golden, my gosh, you're a whistleblower who's been on Whistleblower Pie. Faith Brashear behind the scenes has been still sending things in. I gave a text message to Tom to read, and you should have seen the offices, right? So all of you out there, if you have sent anything over the years, DOJ, FBI, SEC, it all adds up. So you've done your part. Don't worry. You have done things. And the one thing, because remember, what else is in this? Is the software systems. We're demanding the audit and the closure of the back doors on all of these software systems. And and they lead right up. And I'm the whistleblower out of Orange County for this, not because I know software, but because I've connected the dots and because it was my proprietary case that this came through. So I have a very large lawsuit with in California against Orange County, San Diego, LA, and Riverside as the owners of the software system that started with Clinton in the 90s. Through Kamala Harris and Obama joining forces, she was his, I'll call it his clown on the street, because she was the reason that none of the fraud stopped in 2013 and escalated. At that same time, Linda Shaw was dealing with what I ended up learning and how I learned about the ends of the court. And if you know what the ends of the court are, start looking into it because it's part of what we've done here too. Also, T was dealing with Kamala Harris because Jonah's first abduction began in California, And I can tell you when Matt and I did the gubernatorial interviews, Blackwater men pulled us aside to talk to us. And it was near Carlsbad, California, where Jones Plight started. So a lot of children go missing every single day. Orange County, California is the hub of child trafficking in these United States. So you don't think my family has been a target? That we all have been targets? That you out there, you all have your own stories of being targeted. I don't care whether it's child, whether it's parent, whether it's land, whether it's a parrot that you have in the corner that somehow when your home gets taken or your child, it flies out the window, you never see it again. That sounds silly, but that's property. And guess what? It's damages. So we're very excited to have Kirk part of this. We also have another big filing that we did back in June when we were here. It got filed. And Kirk will now be coming in, and thank God again, he and Rod will now take over the baton from that filing, do the amendment of which now Kirk will also come in as a plaintiff relator. And just so you know, one of the relators also, besides us, is Trump.
And I have standing.
So we're just hokey pokey grandmas, victims of all of this, but we don't talk about what happened to us. We're talking about the remedy to fix what happened to us.
We're just determined, persistent, and resilient. Keep coming.
Resilient.
To use some words that might sound familiar to you all, we've documented with all of your help, and we're now seeking and demanding a remedy for a long train of abuses and usurpations.
Time to fix the train wreck.
Here's the thing, and you know, my followers that have been following me for at least the last year know this by now, as I keep reiterating this and what I have discovered. You know, I've read Montesquieu in his Spirit of Laws. I've read Blackstone in his all four books, all 4 volumes of Montesquieu or of Blackstone's Commentaries on the Laws of England, the Law of Nations. And what I have discovered is that there are 3 bodies of law as fundamental law, jurisdictions. And it's Roman civil law, the code, and then feudal law, and then common law. And this has been a problem all throughout history, which in my mind, the code was rediscovered in 1133 AD. In my mind, is what caused the Magna Carta of 1215, because they were implementing the civil law, the code again. Okay, and this is Roman, from the Roman Catholic Church, Catholicism as an ideology. And if you read the Magna Carta of 1215, you'll see it was the Christians that were trying to separate from the Roman Catholic Church religious freedom, and declaring what Magna Carta is the Great Charter of Liberty. That is a pivotal moment in all of history, is the Magna Carta of 1215.
And
So,
on the American Bar Association page. Okay.
So once we understand that we're being subjected to this civil law, Roman civil law, Catholicism, which is tied to the monarchy, to the crown, this is where we get into the bar. Okay, the barristers, those titles of nobility, of esquire, and there are other titles of nobilities. Okay, and honor, your honor, because if you read the Constitution, it's not just titles of nobility. It's any foreign emolument that's foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our law. It's in the Declaration of Independence, subjecting us to a jurisdiction, the Roman civil law, that is foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our law, the common law, and given his assent to their pretended acts of legislation. So when you, like in Idaho, and I've already researched all this, I've even found the Code of Civil Procedure Act of 1881 in the 11th legislative session of the Territory of Idaho, before we even became a state with our own constitution in 1890. Okay. I do a lot of reading, so I know what I'm talking about here when I'm laying this stuff out. I can take you directly to the law, letter of law as it's written, and I can show you for anybody who doesn't believe me. And that's when this is all changed. And so we have these members of the bar that have come in and they've literally, this is foreign invasion, Article 4, Section 4. We've been invaded by foreign emoluments, and they've created these pretended acts of legislation known as United States Code, Code of Federal Regulations, Uniform Commercial Code, Idaho Code. It's all code. This is all Roman civil law. It's not common law. So this is going to affect everything. And to put this in perspective, okay, we have a constitution. We're supposed to have common law as our fundamental law. But under Roman civil law, the code of civil procedure is like the Constitution. It creates the judicial branch. It creates the powers of government. And this is part of what Article 4, Section 4 was about, was in case this domestic violence is internal insurrection, an attempt to overthrow the Constitution and war against the people. So that's what that clause in Article 4, Section 4 are talking about, foreign invasion and domestic violence. This is what it is. We've been invaded by foreigners. These are foreign emoluments, foreign people, foreign agents, and they've embedded themselves into the legislature. There are a sufficient number of members of the bar that are in each state legislature and in Congress to maintain this whole thing. And then there's a bar member sitting in every corner of every executive agency. There's at least one sitting over there in the corner all the time. Oh, I got to seek legal counsel. Yeah, what, you don't know the law that you're bound by? You're supposed to be bound to know this stuff. And then the entire judicial branch is ran by the bar, which is why they say, oh, well, you got to be licensed to practice law. You have to have our permission. You have to have their permission to practice what law? This is how they keep us out, and how they stay in is by keeping the people like myself that are really knowledgeable on the law that can just mop the floor with them with real law. They don't want us practicing law because it's their law. That's the law they practice is code. I have one of their law school books. It's called Code Pleadings. I also have Common Law Pleadings book. So which one are we supposed to be going by? We're supposed to be going by common law. Our whole court system is not like the way it was when it was originally created. Even in the Organic Act of the Territory of Idaho of 1863 and then 1864, we're supposed to have a Supreme Court, a district court, a probate court, and the justice of the peace courts in every city. And in that city, in the justice of the peace courts, it's ran by the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. And we're supposed to be electing our magistrates. They're not judges, they're magistrates. And the Virginia Declaration of Rights, June 12, 1776, says the magistrates are our trustees and servants, and at all times are amenable to the people. Okay? So this is what that true Republican form of government is supposed to look like. And this is where we get into the people as the grand jury pool, where we get into presentments based on our own information. That's a prosecution by information, not the way they've twisted it up today. But we, the people, have the right to peaceably assemble to consult for our common good. That's the grand jury. We have the right to peaceably assemble a grand jury. We don't need consent from our public servants.
That's for you, Kathleen Hubert.
Okay. And then indictments. Now, grand jury indictments, that's when somebody files a complaint and then the court makes a commitment and orders the sheriff to assemble a grand jury for that case. Every single case, there is supposed to be a grand jury for. And then at the beginning or before every judicial session, see, we're not supposed to have this court session thing going on every single day, all year long. They're supposed to be every 3 months. That's right. So then, that's in the district courts, by the way.
Yeah, Deb.
So then we're supposed to assemble a grand jury that is supposed to do an investigation to everyone who is incarcerated that does not have a grand jury indictment. We're supposed to investigate the jails and prisons to make sure that the jails and prisons are within the law and there's no serious human rights abuse and corruption going on there. And then we're supposed to investigate government,
Yeah.
all public servants, every 3 months. This is how we're supposed to maintain our republic and get rid of, get a virtuous government where we have morals and principles that we stick to and adhere to, and to curb corruption. Every 3 months, we're cleaning up the corruption.
And let me interrupt you all here. because
Why
I
they
got
stripped
some
us of
people.
that power is so they can get over on this.
Okay, and what I'm gonna interrupt for here is because Kirk knows law. And he can go on and on and on, but what the important part here is that's what we're bringing in this. Everything you're hearing from Kirk, this is the remedy, and it's called the Office of Protect. Rod Class and myself and other folks over the years have talked about the Republic Office of the People. So in 2012, I was involved with the team creating the People's Embassy, the Embassy of the Republic. Well, sad to say, those very good people, many of them are still in prison today. This is what has happened over the years. So the knowledge that Kirk is bringing here had to be here because the E-Clause is how we started. Without everyone's knowledge, we came together because of their knowledge. Lori and Val brought their knowledge, recognizing that had to be the foundation of how we proceeded. They brought it, then people came in to help finish it. So this is the same thing. Everything he's saying, you don't have to know all this. It would be nice if everyone could, but you don't have to because not everyone will. But what you can know is that you have representation in this republic, in these United States of people, of America, of these, we are your people.
Yeah.
We are here. That's what the Office of Protect, everything Kirk is talking about.
Yeah.
The Office of Protect, if you go read, now I want you to comprehend this very, very well. The People's Remedy and Restoration Act, it also has 7 subdivisions of it that are coming underneath it. It will also have the Republic part of this that Kirk is bringing into this. This is what's so important right now. The part Kirk is bringing in, now that we are in the door, shows them this is what we're bringing. This is the remedy up by for the people. You have hundreds of trillions of dollars. That's not hyperbole, folks. All of you out there, any of you folks that want to say it's not doable, believe me, it is. And we would not be in 40 offices right now if there was any doubt that what we brought to DOJ to begin with, what the Judiciary Committee told us to bring to their offices, what Marcia Kaptur's office said, I want the copies of what you took to DOJ, because what we took to DOJ shows and verifies that there's hundreds of trillions of dollars to collect from the court and land records, fines and fees for the fraud, the counterfeiting, and the perjury that have been presented onto the records. It's stolen our homes, it's stolen our children, it's stolen our families and our parents. We have people with medical kidnappings right now. We have children being kidnapped through CPS right now. We have foster children lost in the system right now. What this bill does is it said, this is the remedy we, all of us, the people, over these years have brought together through thousands and thousands of hours of education. You don't have to have this full education. You never can. My gosh, I've had thousands of hours. Kirk and I sit together and I'm like, thank God you're here. I don't know any of this right. So why does that matter? Because intent is what matters. Our intent in everything we've done since December of 2019, when that petition of remonstrance was filed on the docket into Powers versus Bank of New York Mellon for the people.
Yeah.
No longer for Powers, it was for the people. And that case escalated over the years to notices and to rebuttals of noncompliance and to continue here to when we walked through the door of Doge for the 2-hour meeting we had, not only did we deliver that, but we delivered the patented software system that gives them zero plausible deniability into the facts being verified in evidence that this system was built to be non-transparent, to hide in the shadows behind your direct case going on, to steal not only everything you own, but to steal you, your identity, your soul equity. There's much more behind this, but you don't even have to know that. Why? Because all you need to know is the remedy to fix this is with us, has been delivered by us for you already. So John talked to you about getting the affidavit of remedy in. These are very key things. You want to know what you do? Thank you, Steve, for doing yours, by the way. You don't have to worry whether it was perfect. I know you say you do a terrible preamble. It's okay, bud, because your intent is what matters. It doesn't matter if you spell things wrong, because guess what? How many court hearings have you been in where everything in that has been spelt wrong? Now what's also cool is that because of what we've brought, Mr. Grassley, Congressman Grassley, 2 months ago on a congressional floor, stated that the federal justices weren't doing their job. They were letting their staff create documents through AI, ChatGPT, Grok, etc., and bringing in cases that were hallucination that did not exist. So this is all really good stuff. We're not going to go on much longer tonight. We're not opening this up to discussion tonight, which we normally do right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to end this, and we're going to keep this open. And Kurt knows how to do this, so that we can then talk to you. This part of it is going to end here for broadcast purposes, but we're going to stay with you, and we're going to keep talking. So Kirk's going to do that. I'm going to hit leave, and
No,
you're
Hold on a minute.
okay.
Okay, so I just want to put my information out there,
Oh.
as well as the tollandroll.com, to see some of the documents that have already been prepared and served across the whole nation.
Allie put that in our chat.
Okay, but I'm saying it now,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
The tollandroll.com. A lot of those documents, the main ones there are right there, that you can see those for yourselves, download them, read them for yourself, and you get a good idea of what we're here doing right now is what's out there on that. I mean, there's some other stuff behind here that we're not talking about due to privacy reasons and for our own protection, as well as the protection of those that we're working with. My website is kirkslawcorner.com. Links to my social media stuff is up there. Go there, have the library tab. Tune into my shows, Monday nights, Monday Night Laws. Don't know if I'm really going to do a Monday Night Law tomorrow night, maybe, depending on how tomorrow goes. Other than that, if you would like to get into the after show, join the Zoom meeting and come hang out here in Zoom. We're going to hang out here, and we'll talk some more with people and have more private conversations. Okay. So,
And Wendy, thank you. Yes,
That's
our
wonderful.
donation page. Go ahead.
yes, that's one of my followers there. Wendy just put in the chat here on Zoom, tollandroll.com. Please make donations.
The donation page is inside the website. It's givebutter.com, but that link is inside the webpage. And when Billy says we're not made of money, I'm a mechanic like this guy over here. And if you look at my hands, they're filthy right now. That stains because I worked my way to DC this trip. My wife and I are on our 25th anniversary, and I had to make that a work trip so that I could be here for at least a couple of days to help boots on ground, door knocking, and all that. That said, we're not made of money. We're all just Joe Schmoes working
Yes.
stiffs, common folks. We got one pair of boots, one pair of shoes. I don't wear gloves because they're expensive. Anything you can put out there donation wise, my background is everybody has a vice, whether it's coffee, cigarettes, chew, tobacco, you've got a vice. Back that vice off $1 or $2 amounts, Coffee's $5 each, shoes $6 each. Knock a couple of those out and donate because every bit of that helps.
And think about 6 trips to DC, guys. My children cannot believe after all these years, we have finally gotten to a place where we could all sit at a dining room table and I would not be bringing up something political that involved our family. And all of a sudden, I find the ranch burned down, the Phoenix Rising. I personally can tell you I am dying on this sword. This is the effort. I know this is the remedy. I know this is it because God has taken us from that day the ranch was burned down, March 7th. Colin John, we're rolling, tolling and rolling to now. The miracles
Thanks, Sally.
that have happened in between and the people that have come together. Many of you out there watching have been with us at one point or another across this country. When we did the first 8,000-mile trip, or coast to coast, we met a lot of you. We went to mayor's offices, governor's offices. We have not stopped since March 7th. Since March 7th, we have not stopped. And I think we've grown maybe just under $6,000 in donations.
Yeah, something like
Okay, guys, we were in the hole just the first trip, 8,500. Multiply that by 6 trips, and I'm telling you, I'm in panic. We're all in panic. The only thing we know is we're letting it go. And we're saying, God, you got this. Because
God, Dan,
if
make it
we
happen.
worried about money when we left, none of us would have left home. That's it. None of us would have left home because none of us had anything. None of us still have anything. And by the grace of God, we've pulled the credit cards out and we've done it. So
What I like to say here is, look, we need your help. We're doing what we can for everybody else. So if you could find $5 or $10,
It helps.
each one of you, $5, $10, it goes a long ways when there's a multitude of people donating to this. You want to get involved, you want to help, that's it. If you have knowledge that you think might be beneficial to what we're working on, by all means, reach out to us.
Yes.
I've said this for years. I've been looking for people to work with, and I haven't been able to find too many people that were like Chris. So,
and
not,
call your representatives.
not that you
Yeah.
guys are like Chris, but God tells us no man shall know it all, which I will be the first to admit. I don't know it all. The second part, he tells us that we're supposed to have a multitude of counsel. You're looking at a multitude of counsel here on your behalf of the people. That's what we're working on. And this is big stuff, folks. This isn't just one little lawsuit where she's going to win for herself. This is a major reconstruction and a restoration of our true Republican form of government, where all of the power is inherent in the people. We have this power, and we're going to demand this power be returned to the people. We abolish all the corrupt congressional bills, state legislative bills that have been created since 1776. Everything. Okay.
It's a start over. It's a restoration. It's a start over. Prayer Warrior, www.tollandroll.com. Our donation link is there. Thank you for asking. If you can't give money, we get it. We get it completely. So call your representatives. You'll also see in our webpage, on our webpage, we have a documents and files. Kirk, we've got to get his bio up on our page. His isn't there, but it is. On our Facebook page, the link is on the website. Go to our Facebook page, pause electronic recording and audit the records. On that page, there's also files, so you can find the documents there. We have a phone tree. The phone tree is already created with the phone numbers of the top 5 offices on it. But Darla reached out just this last few days before we came, and we had 2 congressional meetings because of Darla.
She's a
So
superhero.
it doesn't mean you have done this 3 weeks ago. You guys get on the phone in the morning, call your office, say, hey, our team is there. Our Toll and Roll team is there because we are your team. Let us be boots on the ground. You got a representative you've already been talking to. They're not quite listening to you locally.
We're here on your behalf.
We're here. Use us. send us a message, get a hold of Kirk if you don't know how to get a hold of us. But get a hold of us because we are here. Let us be, and we've extended the trip now. We were supposed to be gone. Was it today or yesterday? Anyhow, today. We were supposed to be gone as of today. We did what we needed to do. Kirk's here now with us. We're gonna get some stuff done. We've got people in town tomorrow.
And yes, we are in DC right now,
Yes, we're in DC.
Washington.
Yeah, we're in
That
The
little
Fed
island
pool.
place.
that little place that makes you feel like you need a shower right away. So, thank you, Kirk. Let's go ahead then, and we're gonna say, we're gonna tune out for now. And we're gonna go to the chat. So you take it from here, because I don't know how to do that.
So I'm ending the live broadcast out here. Zoom is going to stay open. So if you're in Zoom, stay in there, hang in there if you want to hang out. If you're not in Zoom and you're watching out there right now, look for the link to the Zoom that's been posted
It's
out
on
there.
Facebook. So go to the website, click on our Facebook link, and it's right there. So you can
Perfect.
click on and come in.
tollandroll.com. Go to the link. Where's the link?
It's inside on the front page. It's our Facebook page is there. You just click on that.
Okay.
And
Patron person, maybe link it up.
No, on the website.
yeah, Ally, I know you and
Not
Brenda
Facebook.
are both in there.
A lot of people are on Facebook.
I know, so
No,
the,
tollandroll.com. And
Okay.
if they want to get into the Zoom link, they have to go to Facebook or
so
have
he's
somebody.
asking,
can
is
get-
there, somebody can maybe put
Yeah, that's why I'm
on
asking.
his
Ally.
side, not our, his.
Okay.
Wendy,
Wendy, she did
Wendy
that.
did it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wendy got
I
it.
just wanna- Yeah.
Yeah.
Hazel D's, Wendy.
I tech, I love
Fairweather.
my
This is called teamwork, guys, even if.
Thank
you're
you,
not doing it.
Wendy.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
And Ally, all of you. So yeah, get everybody in here. Hi, Jody. So we'll get into chat. We, get off of this and we'll get in where we can all open up and see each other and,
Copy that, Lou.
okay? Yeah, Lou, come join us. So
Yep.
let's, thank you all for joining us on this Rumble. Share this link when it comes out. Get it to your friends, share it in email, whatever you need to do, because I can tell you right now, we are doing it and we're not gonna quit at all until we get what we want. And think about it, we've only been doing this since April. We're in 40 offices. When people say, how did you do it? We just put our foot in and God pushed us. God
Yeah.
pushed us into these offices. So let's get on to, let's finish this and
All
get
right.
on to,
God bless everybody out there. Thank you all for tuning in and share. Like, follow, and share, folks. God
Thank you.
bless. Have a wonderful night. And we'll see you next Sunday for the live. And I might do my Monday Night Law for my followers and stuff out there. And if you're not a follower of mine yet, get on my kirkslawcorner.com and grab the links to my social media. I broadcast live on Rumble, X, my Facebook page, and Telegram. Probably going to be backing off. I've been telling everybody out there backing off to probably just Rumble and X. But get on my website to get the links to that social media stuff so you know where to tune in for Monday Night Law. Okay? God bless.
see you on,
Wonderful
see you
night.
on Zoom. See you in the chat.
Did you want to say goodbye to everybody out here?
Thanks all. We'll continue here on the Q&A.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Tom, John, and Billy.